moving on then out of Munster. So you're saying Limerick, Cork, Tip. I think Limerick, Cork, Waterford. In Leinster, your three. I'm going to say Kilkenny, Galway, and Wexford.
I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you. And I think Galway will probably put down a huge marker in that regard. They have an opportunity to do so. They play Wexford in the opening round in Salt Hill, and then they go to Nolan Park 7 days later. Were they to win those two games, which I think they have a real chance, I think it'll be Galway for pole position in Leinster then. But of course, the Leinster final will be a different story, you know.
Yeah, both have Limerick to win Munster.
Yeah, I think they probably will. Yeah,
I think so too. And Leinster, Kilkenny 4 in a row, or Galway to upset the odds.
I have a feeling for Galway. Yeah. Jack, I'm of the opinion, irrespective of the result in Salt Hill, that Galway are the nearest to Limerick.
Yeah, like they have shown it. Like they haven't been blown out of the water at any stage. Everyone has had their baiting against Limerick, bar Galway.
Yeah, and they've come. They have what other teams have. They've come closest in terms of the physicality that other counties have not matched. And I think that will be very important.
Yeah, I still have a sneaky feeling for Kilkenny to win Leinster again. But calling All-Ireland finalists then, I see the big thing for Galway and Kilkenny, that if that is the Leinster final, and if Limerick win the Munster final, that if you win Leinster, you're avoiding Limerick till All-Ireland final day. And I think that's a huge carrot. No, we're getting way far ahead of ourselves. This is talk for June. But would you expect the two provincial champions to get to the final?
It may not necessarily follow.
Yeah.
You know, when Cork get out of Munster, they're a tough cookie to beat now.
Yeah. And like you could have if you don't get your provincial final, you have a chance preliminary quarter final, you'll have a chance, you might have built up some sort of momentum. And I think the main thing is to not be on Limerick's side, if at all possible.
Yeah. I think that, there's a possibility, Jack, that you could have repeated the 21 final.
21, Cork, Kilkenny, or Cork, Limerick.
Cork and Limerick.
I think it'll be Limerick, Kilkenny. But are we saying a first ever 4 in a row for Limerick if we're calling it now on the 19th of April?
On the 19th of April on Forum, it's 4 in a row for Limerick, but there's many a slip between cup and lip. There is the bear pit of the Munster Championship to go through, which could change everything. And the whole narrative surrounding the invincibility of Limerick could be changed come happens 3-4 o'clock next Sunday evening.
It's the beauty of the round robin. It changes like that, If Waterford beat Limerick and whoever wins between Clare and Tip, it could change the entire landscape of the championship. But for right now, on form, there's one team to beat, and thank God for us, that is Limerick. Just the kind of individual awards, and you don't have to restrict it to one name, but we'll say Hurler of the year. Who are you thinking in that category?
Well, I'm thinking of Dermot Burns and Barry Nash, and
tried and trusted.
And I would not discount a certain Cian Lynch.
Yeah, very, very, very hard to go against Cian.
And the form he showed in the league final, Aaron Gillane.
Yeah, if I was thinking on my walk this morning, I was thinking about it, and Aaron Gillane was a name that I couldn't pull away from it. I was looking at the highlights yesterday of the games last year, and for me, Aaron Gillane was Hurler of the year going into the All-Ireland final. And Hugh Lawler did a really, really good job. And Dermot Burns had another great game and never let his level slip. But I thought Aaron was phenomenally good in the early rounds and even in the semi-final against Galway. For me, if I was backing a Hurler of the year, it would be Aaron Gillane right now. But as we said, there's a lot of hurling to be done. For young Hurler of the year,
but can I put a little caveat?
You can, of course.
we seem to forget our number one.
Yeah, I know. It's just so rare a goal he gets it. I mean, like
That's the point I'm making.
We had our
That's the point
MVPs
I'm
last
making.
year. We had our MVPs last week, and 𝘰𝘬𝘪𝘀 was unanimous pick by both of us, and there's no question there. So, could be the first man to win Hurler of the Year from goals, I'd imagine.
You stuck me on that now, Jack.
Yeah, I think so. Young Hurler of the Year.
But you see, there's a propensity to disregard the goalkeeper, you know.
Well, they're
but
more
as
important.
I said on last week's cast, 𝘰𝘬𝘪𝘀 has brought the goalkeeping to a new level.
Yeah, I suppose there's more respect, recognition, appreciation on goalies these days. So maybe Nicky can continue to buck the trend as he so often does. Young Hurler of the Year, if it still only applies to under-20s, you know, I think Billy Drennan is the obvious candidate. Or maybe someone like Ben Cunningham from Cork. It probably just is very...
I'll stop you. Patrick O'Donovan from Limerick.
Yeah, see, I think the thing with Limerick is the squad is so strong, they don't need to use the likes of Adam English, Pat, Shane O'Brien, that they can, like Cathal O'Neill, you know, if Cathal O'Neill had played for a different county, he'd be starting every week for the last 3 or 4 years. Limerick don't have to do that. So I just think Billy Drennan, you know, Ben Cunningham, maybe even Patrick Crotty, these lads will get a lot of game time, whereas the Limerick lads won't.
Owen Downey is another contender there.
Yeah, you know, I just think those boys will get more game time, if anything. But if I was to call it, I'd say Billy Drennan. I know he wasn't great against Sean Finn, but who is, to be fair.
Well, that's no stain on his, you know.
No, some of the best forwards in the country have come against him and got nothing for us. And then top scorer, which could go anywhere if you.
Oh God, Galan.
See, Diarmuid will take a lot of scores from Aaron now. Is the only thing.
He will. I still. Yeah, I think Galan will be the top scorer.
I think Conor Cooney will be top scorer. I just think he takes all the frees for Galway. I think it'll make a big difference. But I do think Aaron Glenn will be Hurler of the Year though. So, look, we'll see how those pan out. Both had Limerick to win Munster. You're saying Galway for Leinster. I'm saying Kilkenny. Limerick for the All Ireland. Aaron Gillane right up there for Hurler of the Year, but caveat for Keane Lynch, Tierra Burns, and Barry Nash. And young Hurler of the Year. Oh, Nicky Quaid. But we'll see how those pan out, Matt. We'll keep an eye on them. But as we said, this Sunday could put a dampener on all those things, or they could get it off to the right foot. But